Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega, joined by my lovely co-host, Sarah Levine.
Woo!
And we got a very special guest today. One of my favorite stand-ups here in New York City. He's hilarious. Nate Fridson.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is great. That's so nice of you to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you've just always been super funny. Anytime I've seen you do a set, whether it's at a show or an open mic, you left me in stitches, Nate. What can I say? And I mean, there is one incident that I was like, oh, this guy's going for it. I saw you at Beauty Bar, which is a bar with nail salon in it.
Yeah. They do nails. You get your nails done in the dark. It's a great business.
That's how you want to get your nails done.
Great business plan.
I guess.
In pitch black with like a million other people around you. You can't move.
It's wonderful.
It's kind of like a dry bar, except the vibe is more like get fucked up.
Dry bar like the hair salon?
Right.
Yeah. But
proud.
mixed with a frat party.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
It gets intense in there for sure.
And so I just remember you were headlining, like you were doing a long set at the end, and I feel like there was some build of like he's been working on this, like you were maybe running a half hour.
That's could have been, yeah.
And then this woman just really, and I don't mean like a little heckle, she was like blatantly disrespecting you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is something that I tend to bring out of people. I know that
They want to pick on you.
Why?
Yeah, I know that like every comic has to deal with hecklers at some point or another, but I think there's something about my voice and the way I look and probably also my height,
right,
that people are just like, I'm not listening to this guy. I'm not for 30 minutes straight. Absolutely not. I have to get a word in edgewise, and that people like, because I guess it could be that I have a conversational style perhaps, and people are just like, I'm going to interject there and tell you you're wrong. I just it's been when I talk to other comedians, I definitely get heckled more than them when we talk about like how often we do, and I think that is like reflects my vibe on stage. I think
How often do you get heckled?
I would say every 5 or 6 shows, I think.
That's
Danny,
a lot.
I think it's a lot.
I mean, I guess it depends on the shows.
Yeah.
But like to be blatantly like disrespectfully heckled.
I can't recall a weekend at a club that didn't involve at least one.
Oh my God.
Wow, so you probably have some good strategies for dealing with hecklers.
Well, I think my philosophy towards it has changed over time. I used to just like, my dad described it as going nuclear and just like be as mean as possible, as quickly as possible. I remember I was featuring years ago, and it was this is how long ago it was. It was not long after Michael Richards' tirade on and so there were like hecklers then who thought that they could like, let's see if I can get this guy angry enough to ruin his career. And so he's like started like calling me, like he was like calling me like Jew and things like that, and like just trying to like
so
get
just
all
ruin
kinds
his
of
career if you record that. I feel like
that's what it should have been. I should have like gotten him.
Got him mad enough. Heckle the heckler.
I'm gonna be the GoPro comic, and just like so I can see every heckler who's ever. But he, so we were like going back at it, like I like, called him a prick and like, said like other things. I was like, like your date's too young, whatever. You're a fucking pedophile, things like that, And my mom was actually at the show. Both my parents were at the show, and my mom was so angry she had to stand in the back and was like had like wait staff between her and she couldn't sit. She was so angry. She was like standing in the back with like the Arthur meme, like her clenched fists at her side, and just like and so we had to like be like separated of course there's the merch line after shows in clubs. Yikes. And Like, of course, he like waits his turn to go through it to tell me that I failed his test, and so we just started like screaming at each other, and he was escorted out. And I was like, yeah, I think I should keep doing this for another 10 years. That's this is a good thing.
Oh my God.
Wait, so
Good
your
choice
mom
I've made.
was angry at you?
No, she was angry at the guy.
Oh, okay. Because he was
No,
being-
I'm her baby. You kidding? I'm the
Got it.
firstborn.
Got it.
I'm
I feel like it's a weird thing about being Jewish too, because yes, like I'm a Jew, but then if someone else calls me that, I'm like, hey, you can call me that.
Right, exactly.
It's
I'm
weird.
Jew-
It's like a slur when other people say it, but when I say it,
Well,
it's chill.
because you know how you mean it, and
Yeah.
you don't necessarily know how they mean it. And in my experience, no one's ever like, man, what a great guy. He's a Jew.
Right.
No one has ever.
You're so right.
I love that guy, especially that he's Jewish. I love
You're
that
so
about
right.
him.
He's really great on Yom Kippur. He can
Right.
fast like a champion. Yeah,
Right,
you're
exactly.
so right.
It's never a compliment.
I start crying because I feel left out.
I'm sorry, Danny.
Oh gosh. Do you want to join the losing team?
Yeah, we got
Please.
centuries of oppression.
Yeah, right.
But you can go to Israel for free.
It's true.
That I like that part.
It's
you
true.
know.
It's great.
I mean, you guys, we did get kicked out of our country, so that's sucked for Cubans. But it's not-
We have that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not really- you shouldn't have even drawn a comparison. Well, we got a couple new Patreon members, guys. How about
yeah.
that?
Welcome.
Jocelyn N and Haley M. So thanks so much for joining the Patreon.
Yay,
We
thank
urge
you.
everyone to please join the Patreon. You can check it out at patreon.com/AITA pod.
It's great. You can get more of us.
Now, this is kind of a new thing, Sarah. We have some emails from people that like aren't situations. They're people just voicing their opinions.
Yeah, I thought we should like read it just because we don't get a lot of it. I think it's fun.
I think it's great.
Also, I'm being praised, so
yeah,
obviously.
well, we know you like it a lot, but you know, I always urge people to give their commentary. So I think this is a great step in the right direction.
So
even
I feel like if they do, we should talk about it.
Yeah, I don't love the concept. But anyway, we'll get to it. This listener writes, bless this podcast. Sarah, I just wanted to say you're a blessing. Thank you for doing the Lord's work and putting up with Danny. I can't speak for anyone else, but this show is made 500% better every time you shut Danny done when he's in the middle of running wild about some crazy thing and getting loud and pretending it's a common opinion. I want reach through my phone. By the way, that's sick, Nate. I want reach.
I want
Yeah,
reach.
That's an SIC.
he's reading verbatim.
I want reach.
There. I want reach through my phone and put my hand over his mouth when he goes off on things like women needing to shave their pits and put on makeup because society makes rules, not him, or men, open quotes, not being attractive, end quote. And that's just the way it is. But since I can't, it makes me feel so good whenever Sarah does it. Keep doing it. Do it louder. Smiley face. Danny, I still love you.
There we go.
That meant a lot to me. Also, there's no bio for Sarah on the site, so I have no idea if I should be spelling it Sara.
Yeah,
and
there's
I
no
apologize
H.
if I had it wrong.
It's cool.
So we got to
We
get
got
a
to
bio.
update that on
Yeah,
the site.
Bio
for
no
sure.
big
you on
deal.
the site. That makes
Got
me
to
look
do that on
really
the site.
bad.
You really
okay, I
come
never
off
even noticed it.
like an Adam Carolla type. in
Oh
this.
no, Nate! Oh, jeez! Oh
Is this, am
God!
I the first person to say that or
Ooh.
no?
Yeah, definitely.
He's
I look okay.
Well, Danny loves
Yeah.
to play the angle of like, duh, I can't help it. I'm just a man.
Listen.
And this is the way we work.
listen. You can't change men. We can't, right?
We can
Right?
try.
The whole culture. We can't.
It can't really.
No man has ever changed.
No man has changed. I'm just look.
No man is capable of change.
I've apologized. Do not mock my views, Nate. Okay, men's rights have come a long way. No, I did apologize for the statements I made, and I think I've been. Am I free? Am I free to go? Do I need to apologize more?
No. I don't think this person was saying that you apologize, but it's good that we have like good ballots. Like when you say dumb shit, I'm like, no.
Yeah, when
It's
I tell,
important.
This is why it's a fun podcast.
It is.
Yay.
It's
I tell
important.
Sarah to be mean to me, and she can't. She's not
No.
good at being mean.
I'm not good at being mean, but I can like just side eye you.
Yeah,
Kinda.
she's talking
Until
she's
you,
talking
like-
a lot of shit about you behind your back. You know, there's a different
Yeah.
that which is mean. You know,
You're
it is
right,
mean.
you're right.
So she's doing it, and that's good.
I
Yeah.
know one day a bunch of women are going to break down my door and kill me. And you know what? I'll be happy. Okay. So
I'll
now
be leading the brigade. Don't worry.
So this is a even more this is really interesting nuance point. This person writes, there's a difference between an asshole and being the asshole. A couple of times this week, Danny and Sarah were puzzled by deciding if the person they were judging had done something wrong enough to call them an asshole. For the sake of clarifying, it should be noted that this is not what the sub is about. If you read the FAQ on the AITA sub, that whole discussion is not about determining whether someone is bad enough to be considered an asshole. It's just a matter of judging who is wrong and who is right. If you lose, you're not necessarily an awful person, you're just the one who causes problem. As far as the mods are concerned, asshole isn't even an insult in their conversation.
So, like, I get that. However, the whole thing is, like, because no assholes here exists as a verdict,
right?
That's kind of why I even bother to determine, like, okay, are you an asshole? Are you just, like,
of course,
mildly not being, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? That's why we go through this.
This person is trying to be too, what's the word?
I think
Black
it's a
and
little,
white.
yeah, it's like a little bit helpful, but yeah, it's like, okay, how wrong are you really?
Yes. Like, if you murder someone, you are a sociopath.
If I
you don't go, it was one time.
But, like, if I accidentally step on an ant, like, am I an asshole? Like, I don't know.
No.
That ant died. It's my fault. But, like, come on. You know?
That's a pretty high. That's like too stringent a set of criteria to make.
Right.
Well,
are you the asshole?
We do get a lot of murder confessions into the podcast.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what Hemda actually requested when I asked her. She goes, "Do you have any involving murder?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't think that's allowed on the subreddit." Someone's like, "I killed someone."
Is this wrong? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I could honestly
like
see that on Reddit, though.
My friends are like, and I'm like,
And the judge is like, "You're guilty. You're spending 25 to life." But am I the asshole?
am I the asshole?
No, but I see their point. I mean, the basic message we're trying to get at is who is wrong in the situation, and that person generally is the asshole.
Is this person an asshole for sending you this email? I think is a question.
I'm gonna say no assholes here.
No assholes here.
I'm happy you raised that.
They're a little
though.
pedantic, but not necessarily an asshole.
Well, and fuck the mods. What do the mods do? The mods have written some, long-winded things on the site. We're out here yelling. That's morality, is when you start to yell.
Oh, yeah.
The mods are the ruling class. And we are the proletariat.
Exactly. All right. Well, we got one heck of an ep for you guys today. Our second situation of the day is AITA for demanding a male masseuse by you deleted. It got deleted.
Yep.
What? How about that?
I hate to see it.
You hate to see it. But first, AITA for not accommodating a vegan guest. This has become a really frustrating situation with a close friend and his partner. So my wife, 29F, and I, 29M, have been hosting dinner parties a few times a year for as long as we've lived in our current city. We like to go all out and cook elaborate, multi-course meals. So we limit our invitations to just a few close friends, since cooking such a complex dinner is an all-day affair and the food costs add up quickly. We have about 4 to 6 people we invite to these events, depending on their availability, and it's become a great tradition in our social circle. Okay, Gatsby. All right.
Old sport.
Our friend James started dating his girlfriend Sarah about 1.5 years ago. And when we first extended her an invite, we were informed that Sarah was vegan. I thanked James for letting us know and said she was more than welcome to bring her own food so she would have something to eat. He agreed, and the two of them have been attending our parties regularly for the past year. Everything was fine until now. During our most recent dinner this past week, we noticed that Sarah was very quiet and looked like she was about to cry. My wife asked her what was wrong, but she told us not to worry about it and kept dodging the question. So we didn't push the issue. However, after the meal, James took us aside privately and told us that Sarah felt hurt because we never provided any dishes she could eat at our dinners, and it seemed like we were deliberately excluding her. He added that he thought we were being rude and inconsiderate by not accommodating her. which really pissed me off. And we got into a huge argument over it. My wife feels terrible that Sarah was so upset and apologized to her and James profusely. But I don't agree that we did anything wrong. I like Sarah very much as a person, and I don't have anything against her dietary choices. But I don't believe it's fair to expect us to change our entire menu or make an entire separate meal for one person, especially when so much time and effort goes into creating these dinners. For the record, nobody else has any dietary restrictions, AITA.
Danny, I feel like this hit home for you. You got kind of emotional.
You know, I did. I guess I thought it was funny. I was making fun of the vegan, and that's very cheap, and it's not fair.
Well, I mean, they vegans do find a way to shoehorn it into everything. But I mean, a dinner party is an appropriate time to talk about it, I suppose.
Right. I mean, I think we got to hinge on where this all started, which is they came up with an agreement, right? That was the agreement from the get-go.
To me, I feel like this is an acceptable agreement when you're bringing like a rando around a year and a half into a relationship. Also, you're cooking like an elaborate multi-course meal. How come not one single course does not have animal products?
So yeah, so how many like dishes do you think we're talking about here?
I actually think it's
like
a really
an appetizer and a main. So I'm just like, damn, you can't even throw like it'd be one thing again if she's like a rando, but now they've been attending these parties for a year. You can't throw together one salad or just something.
There must be a salad without eggs or honey or butter in it, or there could be a vegetable that butter up my salad.
Delicious.
Yeah, like there must be some dishes. I used to date a vegetarian, and it was at times inconvenient, but if we were like eating with like my family, but we could find some. I just have a hard time. Like there can't be like everything's made with what? Chicken stock? Like everything?
Like it's one thing if you want to bring like a tofu patty or whatever, but like this girl can't even eat a side. And if you think about it, if you're at a dinner party, like it's going to be so much about the food, the conversation, you're going to be complimenting the host, like talking about the food, and this girl has to bring her own stuff for a year.
That's a great point. I hadn't thought of it in that terms, right? Like this isn't just sustenance, this is kind of the center of the event, right?
You're right. This is a social event, more so than it is for sustenance.
So I'm sensing a very pro-vegan argument from you guys. So I'm going to kind of pivot and defend.
Not even. We're just like pro, including people if you're going to host them at your place.
It's more like I would say like the first couple times,
right?
But then after that, if you're talking with what's the friend who's dating the vegan, James. So when you're talking with James, just be this would be a time to take him aside and be like, hey, how much do you like this person? And find out, is this somebody I'm going to be talking to on a regular basis for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, and for someone who says they don't have anything against her dietary choices, it seems like they're making a pointed effort to single her out based on her dietary choices.
I agree with that.
All right, look, I'm gonna give you guys the smoking gun, and then I'm gonna switch sides.
Okay.
Here I think is the smoking gun. I don't know if we have a good term for this, but I think accommodating, as we're kind of alluding to, means making one goddamn dish for this woman.
Yeah,
right?
literally
one
a side.
thing.
My sister's a vegetarian, and my mom will make dinner, and my sister's in charge of like her Morningstar chicken nuggets or whatever, but she'll eat the sides.
There's always sides. There's always something you can do. Like there are so many forms of protein now.
Yes.
For vegans and vegetarians that it is like if this was 1940, this would be different. But it's like it's never been easier to do than right now.
And what I noticed that OP does, and he does this little reversal. I think we would just call this the lady doth protest too much.
Ooh.
He equates Sarah's protest or whatever, James, their kind of objection to, I don't believe it's fair to expect us to change the entire menu. But they never asked that.
No.
They asked for some accommodation, right? So he's then trying to make their perspective seem even more absurd by like that they never said that.
Also, how far in advance is this menu set? that like is this like we have
3
this
years out.
for this season we're going to be doing like
Yeah.
you like
Are you Park Avenue Winter,
Right.
motherfucker? Like, shut up. Yeah.
like you got no change, no changes,
Yeah.
no substitutions.
The amuse-bouche has been written down for over 6 months. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they say in the intro that it's an elaborate multi-course meal. So
Yeah.
like, again, do all your sides have to be cooked in butter? Like, I don't know.
That's
What about-
insane.
what
I
if-
buy the fake butter anyway. It's
I mean-
cheaper and it's healthier for you. Just saying.
What about this? What if the people who are hosting this really fancy themselves as like great hosts, like maybe, you know, culinary experts, but maybe they know how to make like 3 things tops. That's what
funny.
I think. Maybe like this guy's like, I know this chicken dish, and she's like, I know this buttered Brussels sprouts thing. And then he's like, I know this foie gras, and that's it. And that's,
That's it.
and those are the 3 things they know how to make.
And everyone's like, foie gras again.
Again, every week.
well, we got to get our foie gras in before it's illegal.
I
Right,
saw
okay.
that. Yeah, they're outlawing it.
I
in
had
New
it for
York.
the first time last summer. I'd never had foie gras before.
And what'd you think?
I couldn't tell what made it so against the rules.
I think it's just the way they treat the geese.
Yeah, it's basically you're like you force the animal. What is it? A goose? Is
think
it,
it's
is
a
it goose
goose.
liver? I forget. But
I just talked about this with my friends, so yeah, I think it's a goose.
it basically like in order to get that like fattiness from it, they overfeed it. So it's like basically suffering the entire time. It's like inherently torturous.
Another Jewish pivot. Do you think they do the same thing to chickens for chicken liver for like Rosh Hashanah and stuff, Passover? I don't know.
That's a good question. I
Gotta
want to
ask.
say no because the laws of kashrut are like really
Oh, yeah, you're
like
right.
they're like very detailed.
Whoa,
you
what's
know?
that? What'd you say?
All
Laws
the
of
all
what?
the what makes something kosher?
Well, but
Like,
what did you say though? Laws of kashrut.
kashrut? Yeah.
Oh, and that's what makes something kosher if it's in adherence to the laws of kashrut.
Yes.
Correct.
That's like honestly the most like kind of like goofy sounding Jewish thing I've heard.
Oh, there's
What?
way more.
Really?
Have you heard?
You're not allowed to pierce your ears, technically.
No, I don't mean the rules. I mean the name of it. It sounds like the laws of kashrut. Who's kashrut?
Oh. Well, when you say it like that, then
yeah.
That's
When
like
you-
bonjour sounds weird.
You do a little dance with it, sure.
I did
Yeah,
a little dance. They're kashrut's rules. Well, anyway. Yeah, so no, I think there's something that's the only defense I could kind of mount for these people. It's like maybe they're untalented and they have no versatility.
That's so
Right.
funny.
But then it's kind of like, well, so put together some Brussels sprouts. Like,
Literally,
something.
pasta is vegan.
Exactly.
Oh my
Pasta is
God.
vegan.
And then the other
There's
angle-
a number of ways to prepare asparagus that is vegan. It's very
Absolutely.
flavorful.
Yeah.
You know.
And then I'm like, all right, maybe they're foodies. This is their passion. So this is more like they're uber prepping. So maybe it is a big thing. But like I've known chefs. My girlfriend's cousin was a chef at freaking Gramercy Tavern. She was just as passionate about making like vegetarian
Yeah.
stuff as well. So like foodies tend to go the whole gamut.
Because it's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
These people just, I don't know, kind of suck.
It's not.
Actually,
yeah.
no, not the wife, because maybe they were oblivious
Right.
up until a certain point, but now this guy's doubling down,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude.
I think they were oblivious. And I think, like, although, what if they hate this woman and they,
Ooh.
Yeah.
what if they hate and they're trying to like get her to leave,
They-
get her to never come back?
Break up the relationship?
Yeah, just by like being really mean to her.
I'm wondering maybe this is like, I don't know, because we don't know without any of the numbers, but like let's just go like the lowest numbers. Like this is a 2-course or a 3-course thing, so there's not
Yeah.
that many dishes for them to sub out. And then they said it's only a couple times a year, so maybe this is like her 4th one. And then if there's big gaps between it, I can see that they wouldn't have picked up on like, hey, throw this woman a freaking bone. Or a vegan
Right,
bone.
a vegan bone.
I don't know what that would be, a starfish or some shit. But anyway, Derica W. I'm so sorry. I know I said
I'm
that
gonna
wrong.
go ahead. I feel like it's maybe Derica.
Derica?
Yeah.
W, right?
Derica.
Derica W,
Well,
right? We'll just
email
say
us.
every...
Derica.
Email us with the phonetic pronunciation of your name. We're very sorry.
think
To Erica.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess to Erica, but
Okay.
I don't host this podcast, so
It's NTA. When I was a vegetarian, I never expected someone to make a separate meal for me. I'd ask the menu, and if there wasn't anything for me there, I'd bring my own or stay at home. Just because you chose to be on a plant-based diet doesn't mean people have to accommodate your demands.
That's funny from a vegetarian to get
I'm
this
really
verdict.
I'm really surprised to hear that from a vegetarian. I think again, like the first or second time, sure,
Yeah.
but when we're into 3 or more, and this woman is still coming around and she's still a vegan,
Right.
And
know?
you know she's coming because you're presumably inviting her. Like,
Right.
it's not like she
Yeah.
just shows up.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and like, to go the other way with this and kind of like take it away from the content, but it's like she's still a grown person who's crying. Like, you hurt her feelings. Like, have a little bit. Like, even
Right.
if she was
True.
totally wrong. Like, let's say it was gluten-free. That would be a lot taller of a bar, right? Do we agree
Absolutely.
there?
If she was just
Yeah.
gluten-free for fun, or if she was like
Gluten-free is
celiac.
Or what? Yeah,
gluten-free
she's
is tough
celiac.
to prepare for.
Celiac.
Tough, Sarah. It's tough.
It's tough to prepare for. I find I cannot. When I've had there are things I can cook that are gluten free, but like if I was making pasta, gluten free pasta is like
terrible.
impossible
That's
to cook.
so sick when I eat
don't,
I feel like it would be the
I
same.
can't
It would
do
be like the same thing with a side dish. You could just make some vegetables.
right. Vegetables, quinoa, great,
Quinoa.
great,
Great.
So you
great
think?
vegan-
So
great
you're saying
vegan
you
grain.
think with gluten free would be fine? Still,
I
like this would be a
also-
reasonable
I-
expectation.
Yeah, and also what people had brought up in the group were like, oh, well, it's one thing if you have an allergy, but this is her choice to be vegan, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, if you have celiac, that's even like maybe a better.
We don't know that it's her. We don't know that it's her choice to be vegan. Like
Yeah,
this
that's
might
true.
have. She might be a vegan because of health reasons.
That's true. I mean,
Or like some people are raised vegan and then they can't like eat.
Yeah,
meat.
their parents make
Yeah.
them weak
Yeah.
over time. It's like raising your kids like veal. You know, it's like you just keep them chained to this thing.
in a dark box of
No, they can't
meat.
walk.
I think it's like more of the symbolic gesture. Like any of these restrictions, you could throw one side together that would be compliant, most likely.
for sure.
And it's really more about the gesture.
Lindsay N writes, YTA, no one is expecting you to make the whole meal vegan, but you can easily make something vegan. You're not being a host if you're cooking for everyone else and expecting one person to bring their own food.
Absolutely.
It's excluding her and not making her feel welcome. If you're going to host, be a host and cook something she can eat. It should be a small gesture to you, but it could be big for her to make her feel wanted. I think that's pretty on point.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think one dish would mean the world to this person. You
Yeah.
know? I think like if there was one thing. And like again, like I want to know what it is they're putting in everything they make.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything they make.
Right. What are they putting in there?
I mean, I don't know. It's just too many eggs.
We put sour corn in all of our
everything.
things. Okay.
Everything we make.
Oh my God. So today at work, so one of my coworkers is pregnant and she said two of the like funniest random things. So first she goes, yeah, I woke up yesterday and I had an extremely strong craving for the color green. And I
What?
was like, what does that even mean? She's
Wow.
like, I had to buy something with green frosting. I wanted it so bad.
What?
She's like, I rationally knew it would taste like any
Like any other frosting.
but she needed it. And then,
Oh, God.
so we have like a Slack or whatever, and she texts the Slack at like 11:30 p.m. She goes, "Hey, I got 2 pounds of extra Faye yogurt. If
Oh,
anyone
God.
wants 2 pounds of Greek yogurt," I'm
Why
like,
did that happen to her?
I don't know,
pounds.
but today, and I thought of this because it's sour cream in every dish. She goes, I actually use the Faye to make like a moist cake. And she goes, it tastes bad.
that's good.
I don't like it. So, but here it is and try it.
Oh,
and
good selling.
I took like a slice and I was like, that's really weird and yogurty. And then I just sat there for like 2 minutes and I was like, yeah, I'm going to eat that all day. And I ended up eating like
Wait,
a
was it
quarter-
good?
Really?
It was so good.
Oh.
Because it was like a little odd.
That was a
Like,
twist. I was not expecting
I know,
that.
it's a real plot twist.
it's hard to describe. It was like kind of like yogurt bread, but then like it would just get you because you couldn't quite understand the taste.
Yeah, I can't even understand this conceptually. I don't.
I could see it being like moister, but now when you say yogurt bread, you lost me.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Yeah.
means.
No, me
Like
either.
picture whole whole wheat
What did
just
she
dipped
sub
in yogurt.
for the yogurt? Ew.
I don't know.
I need to know.
She said she made a recipe, and then she's like, clearly this recipe is stupid. And she kept like downplaying it. And I was like, actually, no, I think it's weird. But then I liked it. And then other people were just like, this is the best. This is the
What?
best. Like my coworker ate half the loaf. Like it was
Wow.
actually only like 3 people went crazy on it. But, it was
But the ones who got it really got it.
we got it. Samantha M writes, YTA, super shitty host etiquette, especially when she's been attending these for over a year.
Yeah, that's also the thing.
Right.
Andrea P, I really want to say NTA because vegans, am I right? But yeah, you're definitely the asshole here. Tracy R writes, host. She's defining host,
Yes.
a person who receives or entertains other people as guests. A guest in your home has continually been treated as an inconsequential person and as an inconvenience. Shame on you. You don't have to do a whole vegan meal, but have a side item that could double as a tasty main for her.
I agree. Because there was also a whole like side tangent in this thread that was like, well, if I went to a dinner party with vegans and I was mad that they didn't cook me a slab of meat, I'd be the asshole. And it's like, oh, that's not the same thing.
No, that is not the same thing at all. Those are like, I mean, that's like, you know, those are like the people who are like, well, why can't I say it? Is it wrong? Why they're all saying it?
Right.
That's
so true.
that's like, yeah, that's just faulty logic. That's crazy. You can eat anything they have. That's,
Okay,
you know.
okay, let's start this argument. Imagine there was no context for anything. Imagine we were all in the void. Then what would the rule be?
Then right when we're in a vacuum, then what? Imagine history didn't happen. Then what happened? Right?
Yeah. Delete history, then where are we? Okay, then I'll start. So I think we all agree AITA for not accommodating a vegan guest. I think that's a big fat YTA.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Everyone.
Top rated comment was also YTA for anyone who cares. Don't email us. We know.
AITA for demanding a male masseuse by you deleted, which means that this person got all these responses and probably freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird given the top comments on Reddit, which we'll get into.
I'm excited.
Yep.
I, F24, have almost constant back pain due to having breasts that are disproportionate to my size.
I'm like, I should have edited that out. What was I doing?
That's relevant to the situation.
No, it is.
Also,
It's
I
kinda
like
relevant.
it, Sarah. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong
but
with
you
that.
smirked when you said it, and I was like,
I
here
smirked
we go.
because, well, I like that she says
like-
they're disproportionate to my size. Like, oh, are they disproportionately small? No, I doubt it.
Right, because
Right.
small boobs will not cause
They
you
would
back
not, they would
pain.
not cause you back pain.
Right. So I think it's just a funny way of masking that she has huge boobs.
Right.
Okay.
Because she's saying they're disproportionate. It'd be like saying,
It
"Whoa."
is. It is material to the story, but also she could just say she has back pain.
Yeah, it's not really
That's
material.
That's another.
Right, it's
She could just
not
be like,
truly
I have
material.
chronic back pain.
Right, exactly.
I don't want to get a reduction because I don't want to lose the ability to breastfeed or lose any sensitivity. Oh boy.
Yeah, I really should have. I'm like, why did I edit this? This is not necessary. It's fine. Sorry.
So I'm saddled with pretty annoying back pain that I try my best to manage with physical therapy and massages. I have one masseuse, let's call him Joe, that I use whenever I go to the massage parlor, which is maybe once a month. This masseuse is a very large, strong man. And he uses a lot of force when he massages my back, which is how I like it. I've had other masseuses in the past, but none have ever been as good as Joe because they haven't used as much force to really get in there and relax my muscles. And I have not once had a satisfactory massage from a woman. This is not to say there are not talented female masseuses, but as I mentioned before, I really, italicized, prefer quite a bit of force, which necessitates a certain amount of strength. This past week, I went to the massage parlor with a scheduled appointment with Joe. Only when I got there, the receptionist told me Joe had called in sick. So now I was to see Stacy, who was filling in for him. I told her I'd rather just reschedule the appointment, but the receptionist was rather insistent and assured me that Stacy was a good masseuse. At this point, Stacy had emerged from the back and was witnessing this exchange. She was maybe around 5'2" and had a very thin frame and much smaller boobs than me. Just kidding, I added that in. There was no way I was wasting my money on a massage that could very well be subpar in the amount of force needed. I told the receptionist that I didn't want a massage from a woman because I needed a masseuse with a lot of strength. The receptionist looked nothing short of scandalized. Stacy looked pretty pissed too. I apologized and left. Now, I normally consider myself a progressive person, but I can't ignore the differences between the sexes. Men are usually stronger than women, and that's that. Joe and Stacy were no exception to this generalization. I didn't want to have to say it out loud, but the receptionist gave me no choice. I'm not great at lying on the spot. AITA.
Okay, I didn't doubt that this post was definitely written by a woman until we got to the part that's like, I can't ignore the differences between the sexes. Men are stronger.
Yeah,
You think it's
I feel like I've only heard men use that argument ever.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe the boob thing was a red herring.
I must be honest. I am relatively new to massage culture in general.
Yeah.
I did not have a lot of massages really before, like, I lived in New York.
Same.
Is it the stress?
I guess so. I think it's the stress. I wonder if maybe I don't sit right.
That could be.
I think that could be a problem. I try to have good posture, but I don't always. I sometimes slouch. And
Or could it be the onset of your enormous breasts?
I have huge
that you got
tits.
in New
I got
York?
huge,
I
big,
thought
fat
maybe it could be
knockers,
that, yeah.
and
They're
and-
beautiful.
Listen, they've gotten me out a lot of a jam, but but they're a burden. They're a burden too. I can't. Seatbelts are tough. I think like I gotta be like there must be. I don't know that I've ever had a massage from a man. Like a professional massage from a man. Anytime I've gone to get a massage at a place, they always just send a woman in.
Yeah, same.
I've had a lot of massages.
Yeah, I've had two. So
And they
please
always
take
send
the
a
lead.
woman in for you?
I mean, I've had literally two in my life. Both times have been a female. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you find it was sufficiently strong?
So I'm a baby. So yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I've really had a lot of massages.
Really?
Yeah, I would say I probably had 100 at least.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot.
I don't think
nothing weird.
I might be in double digits, but just barely.
Yeah. I used to go, I would say, weekly or so. A
lot of stress?
Stress. I think I have terrible posture. Wasn't exercising at all.
Okay.
Weirdly, now I haven't done it. I kind of kicked the habit. I don't know. But I'll say this person, I don't know where they live. I think demographics are part of it. Because in New York, we have a super developed massage scene. It's not a scene.
No, it's a scene.
It's a
scene.
culture. It's a
It's a
scene.
scene. People
Okay.
are moving here.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can make a lot of money if you're a good masseuse here, for
Certainly,
sure. And I always
certainly.
go to the Asian places, and I think that's a fair, not racist way of describing them. They're run by Asian people in Asian neighborhoods.
Yeah.
The cheapest ones are in Flushing. And,
Noted.
but I've had women that I've literally had to tell twice, like, hey, tone it down.
That's a lot.
You're
Yeah.
actually killing me.
I
Yeah.
find the women that I have had massages from are usually quite thorough. They like it's a very concentrated point of contact.
Yes.
Like when it's like they're really getting in there, really
Yeah.
kneading the dough.
They have they know. I don't even know if it's pure strength as much as it is like strategy, leverage. They'll stand on you. They'll do all this shit.
Yeah.
And, like
Cool.
I've been like
I've had people stand on my back.
I'm in pain. Like I've left in pain before.
Yeah, I had one lady. Actually, we had like two, I guess, massage therapists come into our office, and I went to one lady. She like fucked up my neck, so I just went to the other lady like 20 minutes later, and I was
Nice.
like, "Yo, you gotta fix this."
Whoa. It's like getting like a touch up on a haircut immediately.
Immediately, yeah, but I was like, my neck was perfectly fine, and now I can't move it. So, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
No,
I
that's
was
messed
so
up.
annoyed. First of all, why would you touch my neck? Like, it was perfectly fine.
Right.
That was upsetting. Anyway, sorry.
I've got a lot of
No.
massage stories. I'll get into it, but I want to jump into this story because look,
Yeah.
I think what we're going to come back to is that like New York and other big cities have this kind of like massage scene. I don't know a
Right.
better way to put it.
Yeah, there's just like a bigger market, and there's like
Right.
you have everything from like your small business to a massage envy, you know.
Right.
Yes, and see when I lived in Arizona, and maybe you'll relate with this in Michigan, like in AZ, like there was massage envy, and that was it. Like I'm sure there were
same
shady
thing in
ones
Atlanta, I think, when I
in
was
strip
there.
malls, but I never noticed them. I would never go to that, and I went to massage envy, and I would say it's a little different. Like these are like people who went to massage school or something like that.
There were definitely spas and massage places, but honestly, when I was in Michigan, the only massage experience I ever had was from another camper at summer camp. That was somebody I was at summer camp with.
And they
Sounds
do like
really
crack an egg
special.
on your head, let the yolk drip down and give you the chills.
It's all like exactly all that stuff.
Wait, what?
At summer camp? Oh my gosh!
They
Wow, okay.
crack an egg over
it's
your
like
No,
a-
it's like a joke. You do. I feel like I can't put the mic down, but I'll demonstrate later. But yeah, it's like you just give someone the chills. It's like more of like just like rubbing someone's back than massaging.
You
But
like,
it has
yeah,
a whole
put like a
song.
fist.
You pretend to crack an egg on the head. The yolk
then
drips
you-
down. Okay, cool.
All
Just
right.
me then.
Oh, I never went to camp, and I don't regret it.
You could have learned some
Yeah.
bootleg massage techniques.
Yeah.
But-
Some street massage.
I guess what I'm kind of leaning towards is that. Well, I guess the real question is, could she be right?
So
That's
here's
kind of-
my read on this, and like, granted, I am the designated man hater or whatever of this podcast, but
Hey,
I
that-
do
you
feel
know.
like the OP was like, she's not burying the lead, but she's not really. She's kind of beating around the bush a bit. It's not that you don't want a woman. It's that you're looking at this woman, you think she's small, you need someone who can apply a lot of strength. And I think that's kind of the point that she should have gone with versus like gender.
Right. I mean, she could have probed more. She could have said,
Yeah.
like, hey, just so you know, I like it extremely strong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like you can handle that?
I think
Exactly.
this is more a matter of how old the OP is, because I think the older you get, the more comfortable you are in saying exactly what it is that you want from a service specifically.
Oh, interesting.
I think I can remember going to going to get a service of some kind, any kind, haircuts, whatever it was, and being like nervous about hurting the feelings of the person who's
Right,
administering the
right.
service, not taking into account that I am paying the money, I am the customer. My satisfaction at this place from my position is all that matters.
Yeah.
Because even though I've worked in service jobs and the customer's always wrong, but as the customer, like, I want the good, the best for my money. And I am no longer, like, when I get a haircut now, I don't have any problem. Like, this is just take something off this.
Yep.
I don't worry about hurting the artist's feelings,
Yeah, I also feel like the way that she could have approached this was like, she should have been like, okay, can you handle it? And the person be like, yeah, she'd get the massage. If it's not satisfactory, she can probably just get another one for free.
Yes. Yes. I wanted to riff off what Nate said real quick, which
Sorry.
is just because a thing I've talked about a lot is internalized unassertiveness, which I think is kind of the opposite of what you're saying. And
Yeah.
I like that you put it on an age spectrum, because I think a lot of people don't realize, like, you're doing everyone a favor when you
Right.
just say what you fucking
Just
want.
say what you
like,
want.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that really helps.
It really does.
But
It
OP
really
did
does.
that.
Well, okay. So going back into the situation, I do think a wrong has been done to OP. She
Which is?
showed up for an appointment with her guy.
Yeah, they should have told her.
That's
Her guy wasn't
a
there.
great point.
That's reason
Yeah.
enough to be like, hey, look, I have an appointment with my guy. My guy's not here. I'm out.
Comfortable with Joe.
Right.
I'm comfortable with Joe.
Yeah.
Right.
She's the one who bit off. And I actually think, now circling back to this letter we got about an asshole versus the asshole, she kind of sounds like an asshole, but because her
Right.
behavior is so normal and so like, look, he's not my guy, so I'm out. I'm like, what
Right.
she did does not make her the asshole
Right.
at all.
There was a
No.
way to go about this, and it might have even resulted in her not getting a massage all the same and her storming out. But there was a way to go about this to say, like, at the onset, hey, I like it rough. So you got to get in there and
Right.
really, like, put an elbow down or something, like, really get in there. Like, you got to tell people. you know?
Absolutely.
But also, I don't know how this kind of stuff works. I don't really go to like a regular person of anything that often. Like, if your person is not there, do they have to call you, or can they just wait till you come in?
I think
especially if they kind of called in sick at the beginning of the day.
I think they kind of assume you really need that massage.
Right.
And so, like, you're
right.
not
So
going
I'm
to
like,
leave.
are they wrong for not calling her in advance?
No, but I would say it's if you always got the haircut from the same place and your barber
Right.
isn't there and you're like, look, I'm precious about my hair. I'm a model, it's never
Yeah.
happened to me, but you could be a guy with yard scissors and I'm like, yeah, him, that's great.
I only get haircuts from 2 different barbers at my barbershop. I mean, I guess I have in total 3, but
Sure.
But I've been going to this barbershop for a long time, for I think about like 7 years, 8 years
Oh,
since
wow.
I lived
Wow,
in New
that's
York.
commitment.
And yeah, I have like a real relationship with the main, like, my main guy is like, I would consider him a friend at this point. I mean,
Wow.
I've moved shops with him,
And if you showed up, do you schedule appointments?
Yeah.
And if you were to show up and he wasn't there,
There are 1 to 2 backups I can go with
Okay.
who will do a good job.
But they wouldn't like call you to be like, oh, hey, Anthony was sick today.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
yeah, I mean, I don't blame the business for not calling, but I think she has every right to be like, look, I just don't want to do it. She didn't need to give any reason. There's no obligation on her to spend her money. And I also think a massage is a lot more intimate than a haircut.
Yes.
Right? A haircut is riskier, right? Because you get a bad haircut, it's over for you.
Yeah, I don't think she's an asshole for her actions, but I'm like, are you an asshole for like your reasoning and the way you went about it? Is the way I feel.
Well,
Yeah.
The thing you said at the end, the thing you said about the end, that you've only ever heard men frame the gender strength thing. I think there's something to that. I don't know. I mean, I have heard women say that like men are strong and they can, hold us down, and that's why it's terrifying to be alone with them if you don't know them.
Oh, yeah. Not where I thought you were going with that, but
No,
I
but
like
like I've heard women say that, and I understand that viewpoint, but I've never heard a woman get a massage and think like this little thing can't handle my back,
Right.
How big are these tits?
They're big.
I mean, like that's really what this comes down to. I think like she's too busty.
She is ready to talk about how busty she is for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, I think I'm not ready to come that far for her because I think she's inexperienced. She's 24 years old. She's never maybe had, or she's had one woman masseuse. And I got to say, you know what? I might even be able to go. If I saw some white girl, I'd be like, what? Cindy, you went to massage school? Nuh-uh. But you give me some of these Asian masseuses that I know because I've literally been injured.
Yeah.
And that's experience.
Right.
And so it's prejudice, right? Isn't that what prejudice is when you're prejudging?
Yeah, it's clearly prejudice.
It is prejudice. Yeah.
It's prejudice.
100%.
But I don't blame her. I mean, it's a generally true thing.
I don't know. I'm like, I can kind of blame her just because, again, like she didn't need to say all that shit out loud, you
Yeah.
know? Like, damn, we all got prejudice belief, but I don't say that shit out loud.
I think she. Well, I don't want to jump to the verdict. I think I definitely think she could have handled this better. I think this is like a matter of tact more than anything else.
yeah.
Yeah, I
See,
mean,
now we're getting so philosophical, but I feel like that's the thing. I'm like, you were very tactless. Are you wrong?
well,
Like,
No,
I-
she's sorry.
well, I know. I think you're spot on because I think I was getting confused about what she actually was writing in this thing and what she
Right.
actually said. And what she did say was, I don't want a massage from a woman because I need a masseuse with a lot of strength. And like, that's just not something you need to say out loud. It's not fair.
I mean, no man could say that and not be completely
you're so
like,
right.
misogynist.
And he would be totally YTA.
Right. And I would agree that he's the asshole. Like if this was a
Yeah.
man, I would be like, it's an insane thing for you to say.
Yes.
That this professional can't do her job.
Ooh, that's true. I like that.
Yes. And I think even if I assume she's right in this, it's still just rude. It's just
It is.
plain rude.
Right.
Yeah.
And she didn't get the massage. Right?
Right. No,
Yeah, she didn't
walked
get it.
out.
She walked out, so she doesn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could have, another like super tactful thing is started the massage.
Yeah,
Wa-
like this
walked
could have
out.
changed her entire worldview, this experience. She could have
Yeah.
been like,
Wow.
I never thought a woman could give a good massage until whatever her name is,
I think
Right.
you just pushed me back to
Ooh.
okay. Sharon F. NTA. Every time I book a massage, they ask me if I have a preference between a man or a woman. No, you are not unreasonable.
Yeah, this is not Am I Unreasonable subreddit.
Lynn B. YTA. You could just say you want someone who can do a really strong massage. Some of the most intense ones I've gotten for back pain have been women. Assuming the woman can't do her job is silly.
I feel that.
Lisa P. As a massage therapist, you're not the asshole for this.
Whoa.
Totally the
Curveball.
asshole
Did
for
not see-
using. Oh boy, this is totally the asshole for using masseuse as terminology. Though we dislike that. It's used
Okay.
in correlation with sex workers pretty often.
Because I thought it was like helpful info. It's like when you call a registered dietitian a nutritionist, they get like, or the reverse. Like one is not the
You
same.
better be ready to find that shit. If
I
you're
gotta
gonna
Google it.
Wait,
trot
so wait,
that out.
masseuse is a bad word?
Masseuse, as you're saying, is used for
Parentally.
sex workers.
No, it isn't. It means somebody who administers a massage, doesn't it?
Also,
Isn't that
what's a
what the word-
sex
word? No.
worker? I call him a whore. I'm all right. Lost
did I?
everyone.
There's
I had to do it.
Old Danny Carolla.
I just thought that was like
Again.
Oh,
there
man,
he
that
is.
hurts my feelings so
Man, in
much.
50 years, Betty.
Calling me Corolla. All right, I'm sorry I said the WH word.
No,
I
what?
don't,
What
use
the
sex
hell?
word. I don't-
This
I forget.
commenter is an asshole. What the hell is? You can't call them masseuses. This is what like this is. This is not like calling someone an Oriental. This is like this is like
Right.
a real. That's a word. It's a word we have
Hey,
already for
cool
that.
it, Nate Stern. I don't know if that works. Who's a really racist guy? Not Don Rickles.
Anthony Cumia.
Don
No.
Imus.
Don Imus. That's who I wanted.
I mean, there's a lot of guys. Who's the
Yeah. Pick
David
one.
Duke? I don't know. I mean,
Don Imus. God,
I
it's
just thought it
terrible.
was like helpful info to know.
I guess that's interesting. I think I want
But
to.
no, she's not the asshole for that. I just thought it was like good to know. Apparently, you got to use the term massage therapist now.
I want to go with Lisa. I want to go with her and be like, okay, like it's bigoted to say masseuse. I don't understand it, so it's hard for me to like take her side. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think like, again, it's kind of like if you call a registered dietitian or nutritionist, they get mad because like one, you could literally just do like, I think I could decide I could become a nutritionist and there's not like as much formal like schooling involved
Right.
versus becoming a registered dietitian where there's like these set up practices. So maybe
I
that's what
see.
she's getting at. But I don't.
it's the registered
No.
thing. That's what it is. That's what
Yeah.
makes it. That's what
It's
makes it
the
Yeah.
official.
It's like, did you go to school? Did you do these
Right.
like standard practices? Whatever. But I don't know what she's getting at, but that's like my correlation in my head.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing, Lisa. She's really sweet.
I just want to say, I don't think the word, when I hear the word masseuse, I don't think I'm having sex with somebody.
No.
Is that crazy?
Yeah,
No.
Am I
Maybe
wrong
where
for
you
that?
went Flushing. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Well,
know.
okay. We'll get into one of the stories.
But
here.
actually, there was a place on Steinway near where I live that got shut down for being like
A rub and tug.
notorious. Yes.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Rub and tug?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking Happy Endings place.
Yeah, so I've got a lot of massages in the
Mm-hmm.
city in Flushing. Never have I been offered a happy
Really?
ending or anything like that. Nothing weird.
No. You probably have to like know someone to even find that type of place.
Yeah, there used to be. I remember shortly after I moved here, a place was shut down in the city that was like a notorious. It was like you had to like get the number from somebody
Yeah,
who already
exactly. They
went.
can't just let anyone walk in and bust their sex ring.
Yeah. So anyway, I knew it was a thing, but it never happened to me, and I thought, no problem. So we were doing a thing. We were doing like a Jewish Thanksgiving. My friend Lucas knows all about Flushing, and so anyway, we were running early, so I brought my brother and my roommate, who is gay, who I just say because it was all women massage parlor. We went to Flushing. We had nothing to do, and I was like, "Oh, we'll go upstairs to this massage parlor. This is legit. It's on the main drag." I was like, "How bad can it be?
Yeah.
It's open 24 hours."
Right.
That didn't for some reason.
Oh,
that didn't
Sometimes
bother
you
me.
need a massage at 4:30. That's not weird.
Right?
It's not
That's
weird.
not
in the
weird. We're all stressed out. Imagine getting off at 3:30.
I've been drinking for hours.
So I go in there and I am taken to a room with a massage table, and I don't see where they go. They are getting their massages at the same time, and there's a sign that says "No weird stuff," or what it
No
says.
weird stuff.
It doesn't
no horseplay.
I forget what it says.
Walk,
And it-
don't run.
it's like a no sexual whatever. It's very like
Right.
none of that's gonna happen. So we're like 10-15 minutes in the massage, and I'm like, hey, like, you really got to get in there. You're just not really doing anything. You really got to rub. And I'm like trying to give her instructions. Then she starts rubbing my nipples and really just going for it. And then I'm like, okay, so this is clearly that, because like
Right.
the
So the
massage
sign
here,
misled you.
the sign was
Oh
the
my
opposite. And I've been
God.
told that the signs often indicate the opposite, that it is a happy ending when
Right.
they have the sign.
The sign is
Wait,
like
are you serious?
the sign is like the paper bag around the beer outside.
Exactly.
It's just this like, hey, we're not doing anything crazy
So
here.
if you have a sign that's like we're
You know?
DTF,
I just
then
winked
they're-
on a podcast. That's the
Yeah.
dumbest shit
Yeah,
I've
he
ever
winked
done.
Great.
everyone.
Just-
So anyway, I'm
Wait,
getting,
no, but I'm sorry. I really need to interrupt.
Yeah.
Like, do the serious places just don't have any signage
no, yeah, most of them
indicating?
don't have any signs. It's just like you
Noted.
wouldn't think there's
Yeah.
happy endings because
Right.
nothing happens.
Right.
So
Huh.
anyway, and then she offers a happy ending. She says it's $60, and I'm like,
Oh.
no, I can't.
My God.
I have a girlfriend. she thinks there's like some kind of language issue. So she pulls out like some weird translation app and I'm like,
Oh, God.
girlfriend.
What?
No, girlfriend. Can't. Want to, can't.
Want to?
No, can't
I was
do.
going to say,
Well,
I think
I
if
wanted
you
to a
gave
little
too
bit.
much info, you could have just said no.
Yeah,
I
think
said no many times.
Right.
So we go
But
back.
she's used to closing the deal.
She's used to
used to
closing.
having
Oh
a
my
dick in
God.
her hand and closing the deal,
She's-
and that usually closes a deal.
Right?
I find.
So she's giving me now the worst massage I've ever had by a lot. She's like literally just like putting her fingers together while
Because
touching
you won't
me.
let her jerk you off.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's like that's how they make money because it's a pretty cheap massage otherwise. It's like $30 an hour.
Right,
So after
okay.
about 40 minutes, I walk out and I end up waiting like 5-10 minutes, and then my brother and my gay roommate come out.
Oh, no.
And we get into the hallway, we all leave, we all pay and leave, and I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry. Like that was so weird for me. I just you're not gonna believe what happened to me. And they're like, oh, you're not gonna believe what happened to us.
Uh-oh.
We were made to lay on the floor. There was no I was like, there's no table. They're like, what table? No, they had never had a massage before. So they're like, oh yeah, you just lay on the floor. That's how this goes. And then the woman just sat on them. And so my gay roommate was like, hey, I don't like women. That was his reason.
Right.
And the
Oh.
woman was like, oh, like she almost started crying because she was so happy that she didn't have to do it.
Whoa. Where?
and-
I hope this place does not exist anymore.
Oh, it definitely.
You can't close this place.
Yeah, it's
Danny.
so
Wow.
then I was like, okay, brother, let's go get Chinese food. And
Oh,
everyone was
wow.
like really shaken except me. I mean, I felt so guilty. It seemed like a trap.
Oh, my
Wow.
God. I have a million follow-up questions, but like, I'm speechless right now. That's insane.
Yeah, I think they've forgiven me since, I hope.
Oh my gosh, good.
I don't know what I would do if I walked into a massage room and they just pointed at the floor.
Right?
I know, like I was like, what happens there?
Oh, God.
What goes on down there?
Okay, I've also got to say, I feel like $60 for a hand job seems expensive.
No.
No?
No,
It's cheap?
I mean, well, first of all, it's New York, so everything's more expensive. But
Everything's more expensive.
Oh my
I
god.
feel like a $50 hand job is,
Yeah.
it's like, hand job's like an eighth of weed. It's like that's like around $50. I think is like the,
I guess
going rate
in
of
terms
mids.
of like paying for that, I'm like that seems like a lot of money to drop on something.
Oh, I think, yeah. That,
No, I would
Is
never
what I
do
mean.
that. I would never do that.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
You could get a good dinner for that price,
right, and then you'd probably get fucked anyway if it's a good enough dinner.
Yeah, well, it depends
True.
how inept you are.
Right.
Top
This is taking a
Reddit
dark turn. Sorry,
comment.
guys.
Yeah, I think that's... Sarah didn't know that prostitution was a viable career, apparently.
That's not true.
Sex work is
And
work.
it's sex work.
Sex work. I'm sorry.
Sex work is
Come
work.
on, we don't
Sex
say
work is
masseuses and we
work.
don't say prostitutes.
Oh, you can't say the P word.
No,
I
you
actually didn't
can
know
say
that.
it, but they actually prefer sex work.
Yeah, but here's the problem that like they also say that a lot of different jobs fall under the umbrella of sex work, so it's not
That's true.
descriptive enough.
Oh, that's
know?
fair. Well, I actually read a really fascinating article about an escort, which is a slightly different thing.
Right.
And she realized she would charge $300 an hour, and you could do anything in that time. And
Right.
all her clients are like high-powered businessmen. And one day, I forget why she got the idea, but she's like, "What if I just raise my price to $500 an hour?" And guess what happened?
What?
Nobody gave a flying
Yeah,
fuck.
exactly.
And she's like,
Yeah.
"I'm an idiot. I just doubled my
Yeah.
income for no reason."
That's
Right.
amazing.
Right.
In other news, I'm quitting my job.
It's a
See,
lot
it was
of
funny when you made the joke. When I made it, it got real weird.
from what I understand, it's a lot of hanging out. Like being an escort
Yeah.
is a lot of
There's a whole
That's
thing
very
called,
funny.
there's a whole thing about like digital sugar babies who are sugar babies, but they don't actually meet the
yeah.
sugar
Right.
daddies.
It's
And I'm
just
like,
somebody to text.
literally,
Right.
I've been doing this shit
So
for free.
I'll tag
Like,
you in my Insta posts. That's it. Like
Yeah.
that's really mostly it.
my rates are cheap. Contact me. We never meet up. That's it.
Oh my god!
That's fine.
I love the idea of like just the job interview. The guy being like, "It's a lot of hanging out, It's
It is.
me, and
It's a
we
union
talk."
thing. You can't be on. You
Gotta
can't
sign
be.
a non-compete.
You've been working for 8 hours straight. You got to take a break. I'm sorry. You got to take a nap.
Top Reddit comment by Mystic_Arts NTA.
Okay.
But I feel you could have been a bit nicer. Just say something like, "Quote: I'd prefer to use someone who I have experience with."
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised this person deleted it. Our comments on the group were pretty split, I think, but the top Reddit comment was NTA. So I'm like, why did you delete this?
Yeah, I mean, look, all in all, I think what she said was hurtful. I think that affected that woman's confidence. I'm talking about the massage therapist.
The massage
feelings. It was an unnecessary, mean, and rigid comment to say that a woman wouldn't have a lot of strength, because some women are very strong.
Yeah.
Also, it's like,
Yeah.
come on.
I also think you brought up a really good point where you're like, if a man said this, we'd call him YTA. So I feel like in the name
Absolutely.
of gender equality, I gotta go YTA on
I'm going
this.
YTA.
Yeah, I think she's the asshole. Yeah,
Wow,
I think so.